Hey guys, in this video we are going to go over how to export survey or form answers to a Google Sheet. And you might want to do that for example, let's say you have all these leads filling out your surveys and your forms, and you want to put all these leads on a specific Google Sheet with all their answers so you can query on, for example, everybody that answered one way to the survey questions versus everybody who has answered another way. There's so many use cases as to why you'd want to do this, so I'm just gonna make a video and show you how to do it. And yeah, so let's go ahead and do it. So I'm in High Level right now. I'm gonna go to my client account here, and I've already created a survey in the survey builder called Dental Survey. And here's a just quick breakdown of the dental survey. Let's start off with some basic questions. What's your name, phone number, and email? Followed by like, what services are you looking for? Braces, whitening, retainer. And if they select braces, conditional logic using the survey builder puts them to this slide, which asks how much are you willing to pay for braces, more than $5,000 or less than $5,000. And it's, as you can see, it's not really a completed survey. I didn't put in much into this. And then there's a thank you page, right? So that's the survey we're going to use. And again, the use case here is, hey, a lead has filled out the survey. They've answered these questions, and I want to take those answers and put them on a Google Sheet. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create a trigger. So triggers, new basic rule, and we're going to call this trigger survey dental submitted webhook to Google Sheet. All right. So our action here is going to be survey submitted, right? So we're going to go to survey submitted, but again, you can do the same thing with forms also, right? But we're using a survey for this example. So survey submitted, which specific survey? Well, the dental survey, you can have multiple, and we're not going to add any other filters here. Now you could, like, let's say you only wanted to execute this action when a lead responded to a certain question in a certain way. Like, you can do that here by filtering on that specific answer to that question. But we're not going to do that here. In our case, we're going to say every time somebody submits a survey, let's put them on a Google Sheet, okay? All right, so what's the action we're going to perform? Well, the action we're going to perform is execute a webhook, all right? Now we're going to need to get the webhook URL. And to do this, we got to go to Zapier. So I'm going to go to my Zapier account, which is right over here. I've already logged in. And I'm going to make a Zap. Now the first step when this happens is going to be webhook. So webhooks by Zapier, it's down here. And the trigger event here is going to be a catch hook. Continue. All right. Now we're going to copy this URL that they give us simply by clicking copy, and we're going to go back to our trigger. Drop in that URL, and then we're going to save this, and we're going to activate it. All right, our trigger is now done. So now let's go back to Zapier. Don't have to put in anything for this silent mode stuff. Just click continue. All right, so you should always test this, okay? So we're gonna click, so before clicking test and continue, we're gonna run a test, right? So here's how you do that. You go back to High Level, you go to marketing, you go to, what was it, a survey, so survey builder, find our survey, dental survey. On the bottom right, click integrate survey, click link, and here's our survey link. So you're going to copy this, open it in another Google Chrome tab, and you're going to fill it out. So full name, Jeffrey Test God, phone number, any phone number, doesn't matter. Email, jeffreytestgod1@gmail.com, whatever. Next. All right. So what services are you looking for? Braces. How much are you willing to pay for braces? Over $5,000. Thanks. We will review and get back to you. Awesome. Submit. Yeah, I added an extra I added in an extra thank you page. I totally didn't have to do that there. So you can ignore that bit. Clicking submit gets you to a thank you page. But anyways, that's besides the fact. All right, so we've done that. We've completed the survey. We're now going to go back to Zapier and we're going to click test and continue. All right. I'm going back to the edit phase because I want to find data again because it for some reason skipped over that. I'm just going to look at my data here. But anyways, I don't know why it skipped to the next step. I'm not a Zapier professional here, but I just went back to that last step. And as you can see, here was our test, right? I answered braces. I said over 5 grand. And I provided Jeffrey Test God 1 and my phone number, right? So the test worked. The trigger that we set up in high level sent that information out via webhook to Zapier. All right, so far we're good. So done editing, step 1 is due. Now step 2 is with that information, what do we want to do with that information? Well, we want to put that information on a Google Sheet, right? So Google Sheets, choose an action. It's going to be create a spreadsheet row. Every time a lead submits a survey, I want to add them as a new row in this Google Sheet. So it's going to be, I'm just checking all the other stuff they have. So much stuff in here. But anyways, create spreadsheet row, the first one. Continue. Now we're selecting which Google account, right? So I already set this up in the past, but you're gonna have to integrate your Google account. So mine's connected to my Go High Level email address. Continue. Now a drive, it's my Google Drive, right? Unless you have multiple drives, I guess you can probably have that. Now spreadsheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go create a spreadsheet for this specifically. So I'm going to go into my Go High Level inbox. I'm going to click more apps on the top right here. Sheets. And I'm going to create a spreadsheet. Let's do that. Blank. And I'm going to call this spreadsheet. Let's call it survey submissions, high level, test. So I know that it's a test. So what you also need to do is you need to give columns, right? So we're extracting, based on my survey example, we're extracting 5 pieces of information that a lead submits. First, their name. Second, their phone number. Third, their email address. Fourth, the answer to what surveys do they need, and 5th, are they willing to spend more than 5 grand for braces? So we need to create a column for each of those answers because that's where we're going to populate the answers. So name, email, phone, service, and price, right? Willing to pay, let's call it. All right, so that's been done. So let's go back to Zapier. And the spreadsheet's not going to be here because I haven't refreshed the fields yet. Remember, I just created the spreadsheet, right? So if I click refresh fields, then it should pop up, I hope. So spreadsheets. Check Google Sheets and reload to bring in new choices. Let's try that. There it is, survey submissions, high level test. So you just had it to click this little refresh button, okay? So now we're saying, hey, when somebody submits a survey, put them specifically on this sheet. And you also have to select a sheet, by the way, sheet 1. Sheet 1 is referring to this. Sheet 1 on the bottom right, on the bottom left, excuse me. You can have multiple sheets, right? So don't forget that. So sheet 1. And now, very important, you need to map out the fields, right? We're extracting 5 pieces of information and we're trying to extract them to these 5 different columns. Here's our columns: name, email, phone, service, willing to pay. Name, email, phone, service, willing to pay, right? So name is going to be, so I probably didn't do this right. I should have put 2 columns, right? So I'm actually gonna go ahead and do that. See, this is adjusting on the fly. First name, last name, right? Cool. Now if I go back here and hit refresh fields, now we have the extra field, right? So first name is going to be Jeffrey, last name is going to be Test God, email is going to be the email that we got, the phone is going to be the phone that we got, and the service is going to be the answer that they provided. So I have a bunch of custom fields. So that's all these, you see all these additional fields here? Well, those are showing up just to give you guys some background, because I have a ton of custom fields I created in my account. So just don't worry too much about that. So service is going to be what service are you looking for, and willing to pay is going to be the dollar one, right? Right over here. How much are you willing to pay? And that's it. You click continue. And there we go. And it gives you an example. So every time somebody submits a survey, here's what it's going to look like, right? We're putting it to that spreadsheet, to this specific worksheet. We're extracting the name, last name, email, phone, service, and willing to pay. Test and continue. Your Zap is ready. And now if I go here and everything worked correctly, fingers crossed, sweet. Check it out, it all worked perfectly. We extracted the name, last name, email, phone, service, and willing to pay automatically into the Google Sheet based off the Zap. And I'm pretty sure this is a premium Zap, so if I put it to on, it's probably not going to work. All right, maybe it's going to charge me now or something, but anyways. That concludes that. I just went over how to set up a webhook so that when somebody submits a survey or a form, we can extract that information from HighLevel to a Google Sheet. And again, the main reason why you're probably wanting to do this is because as of right now, the survey answers that people give, that leads give, show up in the additional info tab here. And for some of you, that might not be enough, right? You might want that broken down on a spreadsheet, and that's why you do what we just created together. I hope this was very helpful for you. Have a great day, and just reach out to us if you need assistance.